The Bitcoin price is down roughly 17%. Oil prices have cratered down over 30% overnight. And my friends, is it time to mentally prepare for potentially lower prices here inside the cryptocurrency market? Let's dive in and analyze. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. What is going on, my friends? Today I'd like to discuss Bitcoin and the action we're seeing inside the chart right now. Clearly, Bitcoin is broken down out of this head and shoulders bearish pattern. But there's more to it, because right now we are walking on thin ice here, my friends, as Bitcoin is coming up upon very critical levels here. This, in my opinion, is the make or break point for Bitcoin. Is this going to actually form into a new bull market, as so many would love to believe? Or, my friends, does this look like the beginning of the potential next phase of the bear market, which we may have still potentially been in since the bubble pop of 2017? So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up, all right? So we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice, this is not trading advice. These are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the one-day time frame for Bitcoin. And before we begin as well, I am also going to look at crude oil, which has dumped immensely, and the altcoin market as well, to get a better view of this market as a whole. Let's get this crypto. But let's begin right here with Bitcoin on the one-day chart. So if you are subscribed here, you would know I've been pointing this out for, what feels like a very long time now. Bitcoin dropped down to a tentative support region. We found a bounce. And then once we really were starting to get up into this area here, I drew this red box where we did have our prior peak, then our old historic support. And I was pointing out that this could turn into a new potential resistance, as this confluence over here may come into play here again. And ladies and gentlemen, what do you know? Hickory Dickory Dock, Don Carbonaccio called the absolute top there of the right shoulder forming of this tentative head and shoulders pattern. The neckline has now broken. We've seen a full daily candle body close below, and the new candle body right now for today's candle is trading even below the prior, looking very bearish indeed. Also, things to take into consideration here. We are trading below the 0.618 golden Fibonacci retracement right here, right now. Also not looking that promising to me. If we flip on our moving averages, my friends, we're below the 200-day, the average that every moon boy and their brother screaming from the rooftops, the 200-day, Kirby, oh, 200-day. Little James, you can cry from the rooftops all you want about this is bullish, Kirby, the halving. Chill out for a moment. We're going to look at this analysis with a level head. No moon boy degenerate mentality here today, ladies and gentlemen. The Don is fired up. These markets are moving, and it's time to get this crypto. 200-day moving average taken out. The 50-day moving average looking to tentatively start to curl to the downside, which could lead to an absolutely textbook, picture-perfect death cross, ladies and gentlemen. Both moving averages curling downward, and if they do in fact cross, this would be one of the most pure death crosses in Bitcoin's history, in my opinion. Let's get this crypto. That would be very bearish, although that's too far away right now. I'm just, putting it on your radar that, hey, we are starting to see this 50 curl down now. Let me get this out of here. We're starting to see this red 50 curl down now. and the 200-day is curling down. We are trading below both, and it is possible that somewhere down the line we wind up getting a classic death cross, both slanting downward. Let's get this crypto. Now, we're below that. If we go to the 1 week time frame, my friends, the 21 week moving average outlined in the orange, right? This has been a very telltale indicator. I'm actually going to flip off the 50 here. We'll leave the 21 and the 200. I'm going to switch to the line chart so it only accounts for candle body closes. Notice that the Bitcoin price, when it's above the 21 week moving average, has been very, very bullish, closing candle bodies above it on the weekly time frame, and below it we've been very bearish. Okay, and this actually played out perfectly our entire bull run up to 20,000. Then the whole bear market down to 3,000. It remained underneath for the most part. Then all the way up to 14,000 on this bull run, remained above. And now since we've been underneath it, my friends, that's when we saw our dump down to 6,000. And now we are back below this once again. This is where things start to get very interesting for me, ladies and gentlemen, because when we actually take a look here, I'm going to switch over to a new chart here. Let's get to a fresh chart, okay? I want you guys to understand that right now, Bitcoin does appear that on a longer term trajectory here, we are playing with fire in terms of where this trend could potentially be headed, in my opinion. As we see back here after the bubble pop in late 2017, Bitcoin here on the weekly time frame wound up forming a pretty clear-cut descending triangle before then capitulating down to 3,000. Right now, I see that we are potentially forming a very similar looking structure right here with that baseline of prior support built exactly where we had the last one. And if Bitcoin right now fails to maintain this support right where we are right now, which I'm going to dive into in a second, if it fails to hold here and we do test back down into the $6,000 region, this really it becomes very worrisome for me here, my friends, as if right now we drop down to this region, I want you to understand that this zone here, right about 7,800, pretty much where we are at right now, there's a ton of confluence in this range, right? And that very well could be the last bounce spot before then looking for potentially lower downside action. You see, right? Old historic price action could flip into this new resistance zone here, right? The top of this white box. And if the trading winds up getting stuck within here, within this range, very, very difficult, my friends, as I personally would be seeing this as a potentially bearish looking structure here, waiting for further downside action. Some things to take into consideration: we do have this white 200 week moving average, which has saved Bitcoin historically in the past. Let's go over to the BLX here. We could see that the 200 week moving average has acted as the bottom for Bitcoin twice throughout its history. It's possible that it could happen again. And the saving grace there is that it is getting awfully close up to that $6,000 region. Right now, at the time of recording here on the BLX, that's actually at about 5,486. So, I mean, if this takes a while, right, if it is going to move that low, and if the price continues to trend in this area, maybe that 200-day will spark some type of bullish action here. But on the contrary, you always have to think about the other end of the trade, right? Let me go back to the other chart as it's live. You have to think about the other side of it, right? Say that this does come up to, 6,000, 6,400, right? And we're chopping around in here. And Moon Boys are speculating that that has to be the bottom, Kirby, because it was the bottom over here. And then we drop below it, right? What happens then, right? What happens? Because it would be the first time in Bitcoin's history that the 200-week moving average was taken out. And I was saying the same thing this time around, but it held, right? And the same thing could happen again, that I'm saying this now. What happens if we drop below there? But we could hold it and bounce once more. I'm just simply pointing out that we are in what appears to me to be a macro potential bearish descending triangle here on the weekly time frame since our blow off top at 14,000, and also on a longer term scale, one potentially giant descending triangle as well, where we are still creating macro lower highs and not really advancing in this bull trend, right? Let's get this crypto. Now, the reason for Bitcoin dropping, in my opinion here, let's go back to the other chart. The reason that Bitcoin is dropping here, in my opinion, isn't even so much that it's just the technicals are that bearish. I mean, yes, they were, in my opinion. They were bearish regardless, right? With the head and shoulders, etc., the resistance, all of it. But the fact of the matter is, my friends, is that the crude oil price just absolutely took a dive, my friends, overnight here. It dropped essentially, look at it, from yesterday's close to the lowest point here, over 30% to the downside. I mean, absolutely ludicrous here when you look at it. And for me right now, mix that into the equation that right now the global equities markets are not looking great. We are recording here before the open time today, so we're going to look at the futures here. The futures market was actually halted, ladies and gentlemen. The circuit breaker went off to halt trading, I believe, until the opening of the market. So things right now across the globe are looking extremely, extremely bleak in terms of a bullish outlook for the market. Now, that doesn't mean that things can't just turn around. They absolutely could. It's just that today in particular, we're seeing that the stocks are getting hit, global equities are getting hit, the oil price absolutely cratered, and Bitcoin, whether you choose to believe it or not, is more closely tied to the stock market, in my opinion, than many want to believe. Because many want to believe that this is a store of value. Oh, Kirby, it's digital gold. Don't you understand? This market doesn't care about your fundamental analysis. You understand, little James? This market doesn't care about the fiat system's going to collapse. Be your own bank. Decentralization. This market doesn't care. This is a speculative, high-risk market looking for opportunities to swing up and down. This market is ran by traders. This market doesn't care about the fundamentals. There's almost no real use case for Bitcoin right now. People in the real world are barely using Bitcoin right now. And I get the argument that you want to tell me that, well, 10 years from now, Kirby, you just don't understand. Oh, I understand very well, little James. Chances are is that I've understood way more than you for a way longer period of time than you have. So that argument about the fundamentals is absolutely garbage, in my opinion. This market is driven by price action, and this is a risk-on asset, in my opinion. And we are seeing risk-on assets fall, and that being global equities. Bitcoin is performing like a risk-on asset would when people are selling risk-on assets, okay? And what is the exact opposite of a risk-on asset in eyes of speculators? Many believe that that is gold, okay? And in comparison here, my friends, we see what's going on with gold. The stock market is dumping, and gold continues to rise and maintain its value. Past performance does not indicate future results, so this trend could end at any time. But I'm just pointing out that gold, in the midst of turmoil, continues to rise. Bitcoin, in the midst of turmoil, has fallen harder than the markets, than the equities markets. It's fallen more percentage-wise than that has. So that narrative of a store of value, all of it, to me, is complete trash, all right? It doesn't mean that I don't like Bitcoin. Now I know that I'm stepping on eggshells here. You guys know I don't sugarcoat anything on this channel for you, and this is a heart-to-heart here. If you appreciate these heart-to-heart conversations, ladies and gentlemen, please slap a thumbs up on this video today and say, I appreciate it, Kirby, please. This video needs a lot of likes. This message needs to get out to the people, ladies and gentlemen. This here, in my opinion, is the proof in the pudding that speculators in this market do not look at this as a store of value. They look at it as a speculative risk-on asset. And when risk-on assets are selling off, this asset sells off as well with it. Let's get this crypto. Needed to get that off my chest, because right now, my friends, for me, the technicals here, if we drop into this zone. I think I pointed this out earlier, but we'll cover it once more. I think I used a different chart. You guys see that there's this range here, right? And it's where our triple bottom range formed last time before we started to head upwards. If we drop back into this range, which I mean we are literally at right now, I mean this is where at the time of recording, this is where our wick down went to. If we drop below this box, which is roughly at about 76.50 on my chart, and we go back into this range here, I mean that is not looking good to me, my friends. I mean we are back at the line where I've even shown this in the past. For me, this market is really chopped up into 3 sectors, okay? And we're going to use a rectangle here to show it. Up above this region, super bullish, right? And it's only been above there a very short amount of time, right? And we had a blow off top that time, blow off top that time, but that is the super bullish range, right? Here in the middle is our sideways consolidation range, right? Where we just do a lot of chopping without making real progress, right? This has been a bear market for years, okay? This range has just been ups and downs, a trader's market in here. And then below this box, ladies and gentlemen, is where we've seen our capitulation take place, okay? And if Bitcoin is now going to trade right here, back below our current range where we could see this old area of historic price confluence flip into new resistance right here, right? And now we're stuck in here, forming what could be this descending triangle. My friends, it appears to me that, you know, the next level here could get quite dangerous for Bitcoin, okay? Let's get this crypto. That's just my own, you know, speculative outlook here. That doesn't have to occur. I'm just showing you that right now on a macro level, I mean, unless something changes, the outlook doesn't look like peaches and cream to me. That's all I'm saying. I hope that this changes over time, but for right now, you know, what I'm looking for here to keep the bullish hope alive would be that Bitcoin does find some kind of bounce here and sustains it. But again, look, we have all of this. We're building a resistance staircase down, right? We're building a very, why is this lagging here? Let me get this out of here. We are building right now, in my opinion, what could be a very, very difficult staircase down, right? We have our first resistance here, second resistance here, and now, my friends, I mean, take it for what it is. This here appears to be a resistance level to me now, right? Look at this. All of this here, the prior resistance and support, then again, prior resistance and support. You know, if we do get a bounce here and test up, I mean, this area theoretically and hypothetically could be a very staunch resistance level. We continue this staircase pattern down, get rejected, and then if we're below this box, my friends, this level starts to look very, very troubling for me here. And that could be the final consolidation zone before the real second capitulation of this multi-year bear market, in my opinion. Let's get this crypto. I hope that this isn't, you know, hitting you too hard here. For me, this seems like a very real dose of reality. And that is especially if the global equities markets continue to perform poorly, if crude oil continues to perform poorly, other globally traded commodities continue to perform poorly. I think it's a realistic approach here to understand that this is a real potential possibility. If we look here, I'll look at the altcoins quickly. Let's look at Ethereum. All right. Same type of deal. Look at this. Just a long-term downtrend. I mean, this is what you'd expect. Look, back test this old historic support, right? Up here it was support as well. Support again, fell through. Back test it. It turns into new resistance. Then, my friends, it dumps upon another test up. It creates a lower high and starts to dump again. Sure, we do have higher lows as well, but I mean, this is turning into a pennant, right? A symmetrical triangle. If this falls, I mean, we'll talk about that another time. I mean, look at that. It's crazy. Litecoin here. We'll take a look at this as well. I mean, it's just all the same, ladies and gentlemen, right? Look at this. Look at it's just a multi-year potential descending, disgusting triangle, right? And if that level were to break, right? I mean, look at what we're talking about. A complete bubble pop. For me right now, my friends, this market, if risk-on assets right now are going to be selling off because of global uncertainty, I just don't see how the crypto market is going to perform well in that scenario. I mean, for me, the proof is already in the pudding that this is not being treated, as a safe haven or anything of that nature. In fact, it appears to me to be quite the opposite, as it is a very speculative risk-on asset. All right, thumbs up if you agree. If you don't, let me know in the comments with why. Don't just post, "I don't agree, Kirby. It's a store of value." Tell me why then, because I've shown you why I don't think it is. So at this point in time, that can change 20 years down the line. I get it, James, right? It could change 20 years down the line, 10 years down the line. As of this moment in time, today, in the year 2020, I do not believe Bitcoin is trading with the sentiment of the majority of market participants that it is a store of value safe haven asset. I think it's being treated as a speculative high risk on asset. Let's get this crypto. But again, this should not worry you or anything, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I am going to be looking to play this market to the best of my ability. You guys would know my last two videos, I was pointing it out that I saw this coming, right? My analysis is never going to be correct all the time, right? Nobody can. What do you think? What do you think? I have a crystal ball? You'd be crazy to think that I'm going to be right 100% of the time. But for me, the warning signs were definitely all over the place, ladies and gentlemen, that a dump like this could really come to take place. And then you just add the oil debacle in here and the global equities market in here selling off today, and it equates to this. So my friends, right now, the thing is that I will continue to be looking for potentially life-changing trading opportunity all within this trend, and I'm going to keep you all exclusively updated with my trade setup ideas, my entries, my exits, my targets, my take profit zones, everything, all exclusively for you in VIP. I'm going to be looking for opportunity to the upside to go long potentially in this market. And if this continues to dump, I'm also going to be potentially looking for shorting opportunity as well. And I'm going to keep you up to date exclusively in VIP with all of my trade setup ideas, entries, exits, take profit zones, etc. If you are not already in my VIP, ladies and gentlemen, this market is heating up. Today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into Savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. My friends, you've probably already thumbs up the video by now, but if you haven't, truthfully, I would appreciate a thumbs up here today and a comment. Just anything. A thumbs up. Draw a smiley face. Thank you, Kirby. Oh, Kirby, oh, anything you want. Let's get this crypto. My friends, I will see you in VIP right now. I know I'm looking to play this market aggressively to potentially crush it like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can. I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.